It's fun.
just so we can get rolling. Um, dude, that is funny. Maybe we should have though. Maybe we should have.
I know.
I
We knew, you know.
I got a new phone today. Finally, dude. My screen's been cracked since like the summer of 2019.
What kind of phone?
iPhone.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever said.
Yeah. What?
What other phone are you about to get? An Android? Unless Android wants to sponsor our podcast, in which case, Android, I will go buy an Android right now.
I can't go back to an Android.
I promise you, if they sponsor this podcast, I'm going to Android.
Are they paying our phone? So they're paying the phone bill?
This is the Mind of a Coach podcast, episode 35 for whoever wasn't paying attention. This episode right now is sponsored by Android. Android, if you would like to sponsor this is your time. Asa, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. I'm alive and kicking, man. Apparently you are too. I'm good. I'm alive and kicking, man. I can't complain whatsoever.
You weren't ready for that intro, huh?
No, I was not expecting that one. Hope we don't have a lawsuit on our hands. But I'm good.
I just gave them a free sponsorship. Honestly, you're welcome, Android. However, iPhone, if you want to sponsor too, that's a different story. That'll be a lot of money, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
How's everything going, man? How's everything down in Cleveland, Tennessee?
Man, dude, Cleveland, beautiful place. It's rained last couple of days, but everything aside that, dude, I just want to get out and play some golf courses. Dude, it's so pretty in Cleveland, Tennessee. Like, I just want to get out and play some golf.
Yeah, you need to get you haven't really played a course down there yet, have you?
I played one, and honestly, I think I'm just going to go. I think this weekend, I need to just go out there, get on the links, you know?
Yeah, just swing the club, man. Just swing the club. Feel it out. Feel it out. I
hate it for you, honestly, because like I would beat the brakes off you right now, and I'm just not in the same place as you.
No, you would not.
Anyway, Asa, what do you got to get off your chest? Let's just move forward with this.
Okay, so this is going to take me a second. This is kind of random, but I guess the other day when Anthony Davis came back, and I want your thoughts on this. When Anthony Davis came back, it said he was scheduled to play 15 minutes in the first half only. And I'm going to bring something else up, and then I'm going to bring it back around. But I remember in high school, Corn Elder got hurt. He was coming back from football, and they were only going to let him play, half the game. But they, instead of playing him just the first half, Ainsworth played him the second half, and like they won every game. And so when I saw the Anthony Davis stuff, I was like, if they're trying to win the game, why don't they let Anthony Davis play in the second half, play the first half out, and then that way you at least gotta if you waste all his minutes in the first half, then you're done. You have no more Anthony Davis. Bring him in the second half if you're really trying to win the game. I think that way works a lot better if we're trying to win the basketball game.
I think one of my biggest things, Asa, is what doctor is saying if you play 15 minutes, you won't get hurt. But if you play 16, that's where the injury happens. Now, obviously it's preventative, and obviously you and I are not getting paid millions of dollars to do this, Android, iPhone. But maybe we just can't understand. However, all I'm saying is this. There has to be a bigger reason. Obviously, money is involved.
And it's the NBA, so
they're an investment. They're an investment. There's 82 games. They're not playing for the regular season. They're playing for – unfortunately, obviously, as fans, you wish they were playing more for the regular season. But, I mean, the Lakers are sitting in sixth place, and they're happy probably where they are.
But you know what I'm saying, though? I mean, if one of your best dudes is on a minutes restriction, why not just save that minute? I mean, I guess maybe more stress on the body as the game gets more intense, as the longer the game goes on. But still, if you're really trying to win the game, just put the minutes in the second half only.
I would say and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I do know that you can warm up for a longer period of time before the game. So maybe it's getting the body warm, and then that way it's like, okay, you're going to go ahead and start and be a part of this. Like, once your body cools down, we want you to be done. We don't want you to have to go from really hot to cold, and then back to hot.
Yeah, that's
my best,
because I'm too dumb to think about that thing, but you thought about it. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, And when it comes to money, Android, iPhone, that has to be like a part of it, you know? I'm telling you, we're getting this sponsorship, Asa. From one of them.
Oh,
One of them's got to pick us up.
Nate, we got a great guest on. We got a great guest on the show today. So let's go ahead and get into it, man.
Alrighty.
Okay. Well, hey, we got Coach Special Jennings with us on the show today. Coach Jennings is from Cleveland, Ohio. She had a stellar playing career at Xavier University, where she's she had started, for 115 straight games. She is tied fourth all time in assists currently with 515. You are fifth in free throw percentage. 4 A-10 conference titles with an Elite Eight appearance in 2010. After your collegiate career was over, she played professionally for 2 years in Finland and Germany. Right? Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Great. From there, you become an administrative assistant at Wright State in 2013 and 2014, where you won the Horizon League Championship and made an NCAA tournament appearance. From there, you became the assistant coach at Augusta University from 2014 to 2017. After Augusta, you went on to Flagler from 2017 to 2018 as an assistant coach. After Flagler, you got named the associate head coach, University of Illinois at Chicago from 2018 to 2020 before getting hired as the women's head coach at Montverde Academy in Florida, where you finished your first year at 21-2 record overall and spent 13 weeks at number one. So, Coach Jennings, we appreciate you. How you doing?
Yes,
today?
Thank you.
Well, thank you. That was a heck of a rundown. You told me some things I didn't even know about myself. I'm doing well, man. I'm honored and just great. Happy to be here with you guys. So thank you for having me on.
Of course.
So, Coach Jennings, I got a question. You're from Cleveland, Ohio, correct?
Uh-huh.
Where? What school did you attend?
I went to East Tech for 3 years, and then I graduated from Lutheran East.
Okay, cool. So my wife is actually from. People from Akron and Cleveland area are so tired of hearing from me say this, but my wife is from Akron, Ohio. So that's my one claim to fame about Akron, Ohio, or Cleveland, Ohio, that area. So she went to Copley, Ohio. So I have to ask.
I won't hold it against her that she's from Akron.
Hey, the
Coach,
land.
I couldn't do the math. How many rings do you have as a player and a coach? Because it seems like a lot. You've done a lot of winning everywhere you've been. How many rings do you have exactly?
That question's for me?
Yes, ma'am.
For Xavier, one at Wright State, one. So 7.
Ooh, 7.
My goodness. So that took both of us back.
You know what's crazier though is that I've never worn any of my rings.
Do you have them all still? Surely you got them all, right?
My mom, my mom actually wears one on a necklace, on a chain, and then my aunt has the other ones. My brother has one, so yeah. I've never worn them.
So, all right. So, talk to us a little bit. What makes a winning team so special? What's kind of the makeup of a winning program?
Gotta have Indians. Everybody can't be a chief. You have to have Indians. You have to have people willing to play a role. You know, some people get caught up in, what they think their role should be, or being unable to be selfless and play a role that that they're needed to play. And I think that here and I'll use Montverde for an example. I think that all of the young ladies did a phenomenal job of being just authentically who they are and being able to play in the roles that was set forth for them.
Talk to us a little bit about your playing career before college, high school, how you got to Xavier, and what that was like for you coming up.
Yeah, I played at Audubon Middle School, and that was real fun. Played a lot with the guys there. Grew up at Woodhill Park, Zelma George Recreation, so just a lot of played in travel leagues and different leagues and things like that. And so, I kind of was able to get good at the game. And started playing AAU in 8th grade, 7th grade actually. And I played for All Ohio out of Columbus, and we traveled all over the states. We played in all the major tournaments. We were sponsored by Nike, so had an opportunity to play on the big stage, and actually won. I won the Boo before and things like that. So after that, started getting serious about it. When you start getting a little spotlight, people started to say your name a little bit, getting a little recognition, starting to become a little serious about it. So got in high school and really just focus on playing ball. And man, I worked my butt off, like just a lot of hours in that gym.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to tell me a little bit about, you're talking about all these hours in the gym. How is that translated to coaching?
Discipline. As a player, you have to have that discipline of mastering your craft. And that's the same thing with coaching. Coaching, you have to get better. You have to get better at every aspect of the game. There's times where as a player, you can kind of be hidden. They can hide you on defense. You ain't that good guarding the ball, throwing some matchup zone.
Hey, and they had to hide me. They had to hide me. So,
yeah. So,
They had to hide both of us, Nate.
unfortunately.
That's all right. Look, as long as you got the job done, you played your role, right? They put you. Yeah.
Sure.
So coaching is a little bit different because you don't necessarily get to hide. You're in that spot where you're the general and you're driving the ship, like you're the captain, and you're either going to lead us to lead them to success, or you're going to lead us to destruction. And so you have to master your craft. You have to be well rounded. You have to. Some people are, I'm an offensive coordinator, I'm a defensive coordinator. When you're a head coach, you kind of have to have your hand in a little bit of everything. So just learning, studying the game.
Yeah. And Asa, one more before you get in. I know you got a really good question. So you're talking about like being the master of craft, being the captain of the ship is what you have been able to do as a coach. How did that start when you were playing? How were you able to kind of lead the captainship almost as a player? Because obviously it obviously there's a correlation there.
Absolutely. I mean, point guards, I'm obviously biased, but in my humbled opinion, I think that the point guard position is the best and the hardest position you'll ever play in basketball. And I say that because your responsibilities is for the group. There's no I, me. You have to know, what the expectation is of your head coach, but you also have to know how to play with the four other people that's on the floor. And you're kind of like the glue. It's like without the glue, everything falls apart. And so it's pretty much like the same thing. You are the captain on the floor. And I say this all the time. I say this to my team. I'm not going to win us a game, and I'm sure not going to lose this one. And I say that because I can put us in positions to be successful, but they got to put the ball in the basket. They have to get stops on defense. They have to rebound. They have to do the work. And so, I tell them, I'm not going to win us a game. Y'all are going to win it. And that's just, that's my personal outlook on it.
Hey, I agree with your outlook. I'm also a point guard, or not anymore, but I was a point guard. So I do understand that for sure. Asa.
Coach, so what went into your decision to go to Xavier, and then kind of how that whole thing played out, winning 4 conference tournament championships, what that experience was like for you?
Xavier is the greatest university on this planet. No, but Xavier is just, man, it's a place that's hard to describe. You wouldn't understand that feeling unless you walk that campus. Everything about it was just home for me. When I got there, just the atmosphere. There's no football, so basketball was the mecca, which was something that I was definitely into. Being in that forefront, being in that spotlight. The men's program had been, really good. They had very good players: Josh Duncan, Stanley Burrell, Dante Jackson, Derek Brown, Jamel McLean. Their head coach was Sean Miller at the time. And so they were really good. And Xavier on the women's side, we were getting good. We had pieces. Kevin McGuff he'd been there 2 years. And so he, I can see him moving the program in the right direction. He knew a lot of people that I knew, from when I was a kid. And so when people speak highly of someone, obviously you want to kind of see for yourself and go check it out for yourself. And so Xavier was never on my list. When I'm honest, like I never even knew what Xavier was until my AAU coach called and said, "Hey, this school, you got to check them out." I always knew I was going to Ohio State. I'm a Ohio girl. Like, Ohio State growing up was the end all be all. So, but I visited Ohio State, and it just wasn't the place for me. But when I got to Xavier, Kevin, his staff, his wife, the players that were already there. Of course, I knew a couple other people that were coming to Xavier. So helps.
I read somewhere where I guess you went with a couple girls that you played AAU with. Am I right in that? And then you said that you kind of wanted to do something different. What went into the decision to kind of, do your own thing, pave your own way, as opposed to just maybe going to the big name school like Ohio State?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to walk in somebody else's shoes. I want to do something that hasn't been done. Like you said, 115 consecutive games. Nobody has done it. We are the most winningest class in Xavier history. 4 back-to-back championships. There's a lot of history there. When I walk into Xavier now, I still see the banner that I was able to contribute to. Now, don't get me wrong. I played with a lot of phenomenal young ladies that make me look good. At the end of the day, you gotta have people. You gotta have soldiers.
Yes.
They gotta help you look good. And so I played with some very good players, man. I wouldn't trade my teammates for the world. We had some battles within, and we had some battles without. But both made us, I believe, the team that we became. That force.
I think I wish a lot of players now really kind of understood the importance of not going the typical route and taking a different way. And when you're able to do something that's never been done before, how much more it means when you do it at a place that hasn't been done before, as opposed to somewhere that it's kind of happened over and over again. I wish more players knew kind of understood that before they picked a destination for them to go to school.
Asa, and I would even go off that just best fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you talked about that a lot too, Coach. Best fit, Xavier was the best fit for you.
Yeah, and it's all about, at the end of the day, I was the only person that was going to be going to Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
All the outside noise and all those people, they weren't going to step one foot on that campus. And so, my decision was for me and not for anybody else. You have to go with what suits you. You look at, like you said, you talk about doing something that haven't been done. I look at places like Loyola Chicago.
Right.
Or, so that's a place that people are still talking about.
Mm-hmm.
At first they weren't, because they had no idea, but now, people still talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about Xavier, somehow, some way, Amber Harris, Tashia Phillips, April Phillips, Dee Jernigan, Special Jennings, those names are going to be mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, Coach. And so I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. So obviously, all of the stops that you have taken has shaped your coaching philosophy. And now, this is not a head coaching interview, but I am interested. How have you shaped your coaching philosophy, or what has shaped your coaching philosophy?
Oh, all the stops I've been at, I think you learn what you want and what you don't want. Obviously as an assistant, and I was fortunate enough to work on different staffs with different, head coaches that each one was individually unique in their own way, had a different way about them. And so I had to learn different ways. It actually helped me become multi-talented as opposed to just being one-dimensional. So I think that, you take little pieces from here, from there, and you it's like, what they say, putty, throw it against the wall. Sometimes things stick and sometimes they don't. And so you take the sticks and you kind of shape it into how you see fit, and you go from there.
Yeah, great answer.
Talk to us about your experience overseas. What was that like?
Oh man, it was that first in Finland was cold. It was dark. It was hard. They speak Finnish, and it's a language that you don't hear about Finnish when you're in high school. Or
not in Ohio?
Huh?
Not in Ohio?
Finnish? You know what Finnish is?
They don't speak that in Cleveland, Ohio.
No. They speak,
what is this?
What's El Slango in Cleveland? A whole lot of slang. It just, man, I had to look up what Finnish was, and I learned that in Finland they have their own language. So it's not something you would study even in school. So it was tough. People trying to translate. You got a translator. You got to have somebody with you at all times. So it was a tough. That place was tough. Germany, though, I love Germany. Americanized. I would live in Germany to this day. If my wife or my fiance and I, if we had to get up and go somewhere, and we're going to Germany because it's Americanized. The food is phenomenal. They love Americans. They have, and this is going into, they have so many like different architectural pieces and things like that. The clubs are insane. I'm young enough to club. Like, it's just, Germany was it, man. I love Germany.
That's what's up. That's awesome. That's good to hear. So transitioning from, well, actually, hang on real quick. What was your biggest takeaway from playing overseas?
That level is everybody's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in college, you sometimes play the teams that you're paying. You know, some teams get a stipend from coming and getting their head beat in by you. But at the pro level, everybody's good. You know, everybody was the best player on their team. Everybody was this. Everybody was that. Everybody comes with accolades. So you have to take your craft to an even higher level. You have to that dedication, that discipline has to be even better. Like you got to take your place to a place that you haven't been. So I had a sense of appreciation from that, from being pushed to that level.
Mm-hmm. So transitioning from playing career, hang up the shoes. Talk to us about your coaching journey. How you got started? What made you want to start coaching? Kind of your influences. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Networking. Got to know people. My first job was at Wright State University, where Mike Bradbury, who was the head coach there, was actually on staff at Xavier when I was being recruited to come to Xavier.
Okay.
And so as a junior in college, I kind of knew that I wanted to get into coaching. My senior year, I did the So You Want to Be a Coach program. And just I knew that I had a niche for that. And so when I was in Europe, I called Kevin, and, you know, he was like basically making calls and things like that. And him and Mike Bradbury are good friends. And Mike happened to have a position open, and he gave me a shot.
What's one of the coach? So we had a guy, Coach Alexander, Coach Casey Alexander, our coach at Lipscomb. We had him on recently. Excuse me. We had him on the podcast recently, and he asked us the question. You know, what's the most profound things that we've learned from the game of basketball? What's one of the most profound things that you have learned from the game of basketball?
I'm gonna use the word discipline again, because it's for every aspect of your life. You know, like I'm not a parent, but I can see how in parenting you have to be disciplined as a parent you're responsible for someone else's life.
Yeah.
As a coach, you're responsible. Like I'm responsible for 14 to 18-year-olds. My kids are boarding students, so they live on campus. Their parents are, you know, I have 6 international kids. Their parents aren't even in the country. You know, so I'm responsible. So I have to be disciplined enough to you know, have itineraries, checking up on them, be organized, have everything they would need. So it's just transferable to every aspect of life.
So how does recruiting or just going about getting players at a place like Montverde, how does that work?
Get good.
Yeah.
You get good, people want to come.
Yeah.
No, but I think, you know, the place sells itself. It's you know, I said this in one of my other interviews that we have a 100% college acceptance rate. You know, we have 90 different countries that attend our school. We have 34 advanced placement college courses. You know, we have 27 sports.
Yeah.
So outside of even speaking about basketball, like that component alone draws people in. You're going to get an education. It's almost like saying you come here, you're going to get into college.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a fact, because that's what statistics say. That's what the numbers say. So it's a place that, you know, it has a ton of resources, you know, it's a place where you can grow. And, you know, my kids are getting the opportunity to see firsthand what it would be like at the college level, because everything we do caters to that, from study hall to classes to practice time to, you know, to how we play, just everything.
Certainly. Okay, so you've been an assistant at multiple stops on the college level. How was it transitioning to a high school head coach?
Well, as I said, it's not a typical high school.
Yeah.
So it's still, and it's ran like a college.
Yeah.
Everything I do is no different than what I did at the college level. Yeah. So, I don't even have a ton of differences. Well, there's one difference.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with 14 to 18-year-olds. Right. As opposed to 18 to 22-year-olds.
Yeah. So along the same lines, like the place you grew up from or in and the place you're coaching now, they're pretty similar, right? Cleveland and Florida. How has that adjustment been?
Listen, if Florida was like Cleveland, I wouldn't be here. And that's as nice as I can say it. It's just
I'm not gonna. I won't tell my wife. I won't tell her.
please tell her. Don't get out of there. Come here. This is
okay.
Like, the high school I went to was actually, East Tech I love East Tech to death. It kind of molded me into this woman. It actually molded me into that college young lady that I became. But
Sure.
East Tech is man, you got to be tough to go there. Surrounded by the inner city projects. There's got to have your head on a swivel. There's fights. There's all type of things going on. But if you can adapt in there, you can adapt anywhere. So I'm appreciative that I had the opportunity to go to East Tech and experience what I experienced there. But I wouldn't go back.
Yeah. It's like it's important that you can look back and realize what helped mold you into the person that you are. Yeah. But understanding that's not who you are anymore and you have become another person. I understand.
It's not who I am, man. We don't have there's no metal detectors at Montverde Academy. There's, you feel good, you walk in, you're good.
Well, I don't think anyone's blaming you for being in Florida right now at Montverde. So anyway. Ace, I had to throw that in.
Yeah, I feel you. Hey, so obviously it was a crazy year. Talk to us a little bit just about, the difficulties of this year, especially, being a first-time head coach with COVID and everything, all the hoops we had to jump through. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Fortunately, I didn't run through a ton of hoops. COVID hit us one time. But other than that, I was grateful that my kids were able to, my international kids were able to get back here. Everybody was here. They were.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that aspect. So you didn't have any issues with that or anything?
No, so all six of my international kids were able to be back here in the States. Now, they didn't get to go home. They went home for Christmas. And that probably was the most scared I've been in a long time. Because my fear was that they wouldn't be able to get back after the break. But they needed to go home. They needed to see their families. They've been here all year. So, yeah, man, besides not being able to travel as much as we would have liked to, but we operate like in our own little bubble anyway. It's like our own city. If you ever come to Montverde, to our campuses and things like that, phenomenal. Just like a college campus. You have your classrooms, you have your facilities, you have your barn, we have horses, so it's just, it's different.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I got one more kind of 3-part question before we do some rapid fire. Nate, do you have anything before I go?
After your 3-part, I do.
After my 3-part? Okay, great. Okay, so Coach, I know I was reading about your stuff. I know you're a big proponent of women's empowerment through sports. And I kind of wanted to ask you kind of what that looks like to you now, what it needs to look like going forward, and quite frankly, what can guys like Nathan and I do to kind of just be aware of things like that?
Hey, so you said it so great. I don't have a question anymore.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's a phenomenal question. You know what I think is the biggest thing is just investment. I think that people investing in women's sports. A lot of people say, oh, well, people don't watch women's basketball, or they don't bring in the money. Let's use that for an example. They don't bring the money to men. No, that's not true. We don't get the investments that the men get. I think that's the difference. If ESPN and Nike and everybody else that put into men's basketball, if they invested just as much funds into women, you couldn't tell me that we wouldn't be on a higher level than what we are now. Because if you think about it, like the statistics are there. People watch women's basketball.
Right.
They're watching. Like we're like a wave now.
Yeah.
And I think that investing. What you and Nathan continue to do is, things like this, having women on your podcast and talk about, the things that are going on in the sport on the women's side. I think there's no better advocate for women than women. You see a lot of men try to speak for women, or people in the NBA say, well, we do it like this, the women should do it like this. We're different. It's different.
Yeah.
You have a different, it's like the left side of your brain. It's going to be a little different on the right when it comes to women. So just having people that are invested, invest in us.
Absolutely. What's funny is that my dad, when Pat Summitt was coaching at Tennessee, so I know football has been hard on me. I am a Tennessee fan, but my dad always used to make us watch Tennessee basketball, women's basketball. This was like before the time of Bruce Pearl. So like back, I guess in 2007, 2008 might have been the last time when Candace Parker won a championship. And he used to have us watch it because he was like, this is how basketball is supposed to be played. This is how basketball is supposed to be played. And for a time there, and I'm asking you, this is not me making a generalization. It would almost seem like shooting and everything that really intrigued me about the game of women's basketball went away, and it's starting to come back. Am I wrong in that assessment?
You know what? I think that it is starting to come back. I think that, like I said, just a lot more people are using their voice. And, I'm so appreciative to the late Kobe Bryant. God rest his soul for
Yes.
the light that he was shining on women's basketball.
Yes.
Some say, because, he became invested because he has a daughter. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter why he was invested. He was invested.
He was all in.
That put us on the stage right there. And so now you see LeBron, tweeting about women. You see CP3 wearing, the women's shirts and things like jerseys. You see a lot of the guys wearing the WNBA hoodie, so I think that is great, it's great. And I think that's another way that, I think the second question is asked was empowering, kind of how you empower women. You build them up. You build us up.
Yes.
Don't tear us down. No. Some people try to tear down our sport, or it's not fast enough, they're not athletic enough, they're not that. Like, build us up. Build us up. Celebrate, our victories. Shine your light on us. Don't dim our light.
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
It doesn't have to be the men's game. I mean, it doesn't have to look exactly like it.
Can I say something? That I think that's the beautiful part about the women's game is it's not the men's game.
Yeah.
And the sense that, like I was trying to, and I don't know if I did a great job of explaining this, but the way my dad wanted me to watch basketball was how it is a team game. Yeah. And how you're supposed to play it a certain way. And so what my dad was trying to get me to say was, listen, if you watch men's basketball, college, pro, whatever you want to watch, you're going to miss out on a lot of really, really good basketball. And so like that was my dad's point. Now I might not have let you know in the best way.
Yeah.
It's work come hard for me sometimes. So don't take that. Don't judge me on that, hopefully. But I'm just a kid from Tennessee. But yeah, so like that's like I think one of the most unique things my dad ever did to me was help me understanding to watch the game of basketball from the women's side.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's it's a beautiful thing. And same with like now, empowering my young ladies to watch it. A lot of kids, even girls nowadays, younger girls, they don't watch basketball. It drives me crazy. Like
a lot, yeah.
What do you mean you don't watch ball? So just pushing them to invest in the sport and watching, empowering them to hey, you got to invest in you, or no one else will. So that's just huge.
Asa, honestly, you asked my question for me, so go forward with however you please.
Hey, we're on the same page, man. Great minds,
that's why we're doing this,
That's why we're doing this. That's exactly why we're doing this. Well, Coach, hey, we'd like to have a little fun towards the end of the show. Do you mind doing some rapid fire questions with us real quick?
I do.
Awesome. Okay, first question. Here we go. Last technical.
Ooh. Augusta University. I actually I didn't use a bad word, but I used an appropriate word. That makes sense.
Have you ever?
I'll take it to that story.
Okay. Have you ever been kicked out of a game as a coach or player?
No.
No. Okay. You're up 3. Excuse me. Hang on. You're up 3 at the end of a game. Do you foul or let it play out?
I'm up 3.
You're up 3. Do you foul or let it play out?
We playing it out.
Okay. Trusting your defense?
Trust my D. You got to prove to me.
Okay.
Yeah, make it.
Okay, I like that.
We go to overtime, so.
Yeah, true. Leave your best player in with 2 fouls in the first half.
I have before. Yeah, it just comes down to trust.
Go for the tie or go for the win?
I'm going for the win.
Okay. Casual or professional on the sidelines?
Oh, I'm more the professional type. Like I like
Yeah.
to be Coach Drip, so I like
Coach Drip.
yeah, I like to jazzy it up. So I'm more of the professional type, but I'm with either way. I like
Okay.
my personal opinion is professional.
Early morning practice or evening or night practice?
Oh, evening,
Evening.
evening,
Yeah.
evening. I'm not a morning person, so I wouldn't even
Okay.
put my kids in that position.
Okay.
I'd be
I respect that answer. If you could not coach basketball or be in the world of sports, what would you do?
If I could not coach or be in sports, I'd be, I don't know. I used to want to be an SVU detective. So,
Okay.
yeah, something like that, I guess.
Okay. Do you watch a lot of crime shows or listen to crime podcasts or anything?
Love it.
What's your favorite crime show or podcast?
Law and Order SVU. I love Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
I like CSI Miami.
CSI Miami used to be my favorite show ever. When I
Yes.
The other CSI though. I like Miami though.
Yeah.
Forensic Files. Sometimes you can sit and watch that. First 48. It's a lot of snitches on there, but that's okay.
So why is Criminal Minds your favorite, and why is Spencer Reed your favorite character? You can go ahead and tell me why.
I think that Reed is just freakishly like a genius.
Don't you just like want to be able to think like him? But also it scares you how much he thinks.
I was about to say, I sometimes I'd be like, oh, I wish I could, but no, his brain, the way his brain operates, I think and it don't show it in the show, but I would be overwhelmed. Like if I just knew everything, like I could figure everything out. Like, no, that's too overwhelming.
As a basketball coach, it would be nice if we could figure everything out.
Hello. I love to be feed in. Absolutely.
Yes.
Coach, do you play any golf?
Actually, I do.
Can you break 100?
At Top Golf, yeah.
I like it.
At the regular, depending on how many holes,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Okay.
Sir, I'm out there to be cute and whack at balls.
Yeah. You gotta have the drip on the golf course too, right?
Absolutely. I come with the polo,
Uh-huh.
shorts, and with some type of sauce on my feet.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Period.
So,
Yes. I love it.
Beyonce, she would say purr. It's like a new thing, I guess, at a period. She says something like purr. It aggravates them. So
Period.
That's good. Should every team make the conference tournament?
oh my God, no.
No. Why not?
Because some are drastically bad.
Yeah.
What's the point if you've been 3-30 all year? Why? No.
Okay.
No. I'm not into that, but
all right.
you have to earn the right to be in a tournament.
Mm-hmm. Put some emphasis on the regular season.
Hello.
Yep. Nathan, I have to ask this question. We got to know. She's from Cleveland.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm already nervous. Like, can we get the first? Would this be the first one?
Well, let's just ask the question. LeBron or Jordan?
Let's do it.
LeBron James.
Oh.
LeBron?
I'm gonna say LeBron because I think that LeBron has played until he got AD. Has never played with a superstar. Well, Kyrie is a superstar. But other than that, even before we got Kyrie, LeBron was going to the championship with Eric Snow and
Dwayne Wade.
You right, Dwayne Wade. But that's in Miami. We talking about in Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Y'all
I'll put my mic back down. I got a little overwhelmed there.
Oh, Dwayne Wade was a star. But him being able to get us to the championship every year in Cleveland with nothing but role players. We had Zabronis Elgauskas.
Yeah. Nobody was on that team.
Right. So LeBron James.
Oh, Coach, I appreciate that answer.
I couldn't tell you how much you just went up in Ace's book. Like, I used to think so highly of you right now.
I'm glad that
And you are. I
already did.
Am I mistaken? Is that the first person to say LeBron on our podcast?
I think it is. I think that's the first LeBron we've gotten.
And we're on episode 35?
Nathan, I'm just not riding a wave. I think most people say Jordan because the majority says that. But I think you put LeBron in that era with his athleticism and his abilities that he have now.
Hold up, I gotta say something. Hello.
Talking about LeBron then as well.
Hello.
What?
Hello.
He's saying you put LeBron in that era. He's saying hello.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like I think if you put
Like
Jordan,
wake up. Like
some
yeah.
people say, oh well, it was more physical then. LeBron takes beatings.
LeBron is 6'8", 60.
And he takes beatings. It's
That's
not
what
him.
I'm saying.
Man.
Boy would take beatings in the NFL easily. So
I think that's just like me saying Shaq is the greatest big man of all time. Some people say, oh my God, it's Kareem and all. No, it's not. But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Not one person in that era that could have guarded Shaq. Not one.
No, not at all. Not even close.
you don't think Wilt would have had a shot?
Absolutely not. Too skinny,
7.
too tall, not big enough. We're talking about Shaq. We're talking about Diesel.
Okay, hold up. Well, this is also – so this is – now I'm getting really off tangent, Ace, so you got to hang it with me for a second. So there's also a part of saying who's the best, and it's the best in the moment, the best for their whole career. And so you go into that question too. So, like, obviously Shaq's career was stunted and to a certain extent because of injuries, or I mean, however you like to say it. But, like, that's also the argument for LeBron is he hasn't been injured. I mean, obviously an ankle sprain here or there, I guess, but – I mean, and honestly, it was just this year, right?
Yeah.
But like, so like that would be an argument in favor of LeBron, but would hurt Shaq to a certain extent. Does that make sense?
I disagree because his body of work, whether he was injured or not, championships, and when he is healthy, he's unstoppable.
Here's the best
I would say Wilt. So Wilt in his era and Shaq in his era, two most dominant big men to ever play the game, in my opinion.
I agree, but what I'm saying is, if Shaq was against Wilt, I think Shaq would have dominated him.
Well, every single year, I think. I mean, when you go in decades, I think every single decade you get better at the sport because you can look at the past, and you can learn from the past, and even improve on the past. So yes, I agree with you.
That's true.
100% agree.
The best argument for Shaq is that when he left Kobe, he went straight to Miami and won one with D Wade.
A 24-year-old D Wade, for that matter.
Yeah, a young D Wade. Where can the people find you on Twitter and Instagram?
Our program, you can follow us at on Twitter and Instagram. It's at MVAGBB. That's our school, Montverde Academy, and then my school. Twitter is at Special Jennings, and same for Instagram. Fair warning, I am authentically raw on Twitter. I say the first thing that comes to my mind.
More people should. More people should do that. More people should do that.
Ace has been saying this for a while. More people should speak their mind.
Follow. Go look at my timeline.
Okay.
Inbox me when you see what I said.
I got you. Well, you can
go check it out. It's not private either. So.
Yeah.
So when you get off here, go check it out. That first tweet is gonna knock you out.
All right. We'll do that. Well, you can find myself on Instagram at the Ace of Spades with a Z on the end. You can find Nathan on Instagram and Twitter at Nate5_Moran, and you can find Mind of a Coach on Twitter at Mind of a Coach Pod. We changed it, Nathan. That's correct, right?
Bang. Yes, sir.
At Mind of a Coach Pod, and you can find Mind of a Coach on Instagram at Mind of a Coach. Coach Jennings, we appreciate you again. Appreciate your time. Best of luck to you and the Montverde women's basketball team this upcoming season. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you for having me.
Man, thank you.
To your stereo soul from the backbone of the planet Sun.